could you start over with nothing and just get one piece of gear in each category? What is the knife? What is the light? What is the tool?
That is such a hard question. I don't think I can even come up with a list of 5 right now. They said I created a toolkit for my daughter to take with her to college. I bought some inexpensive tools, gave her some of my current ones, and a couple of nice pieces. She likes my Milwaukee ratchet screwdriver, so I got her one of those. And my wife thinks this is overkill. I love that they included that. So what's your first slip joint knife? And have you EDC'd a slip joint knife?
Unfortunately for me.
Unfortunately, why?
So my very first slip joint was a Boy Scout pocket knife that I found in my grandfather's closet that I just stole right from under him. Guess what happens next?
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Carry the Way, the weekly podcast where we nerd out about all things EDC gear and maybe try to teach you a thing or two while we're at it. I'm Bernard, the founder of EverydayCarry.com, and I'm joined by our editor, Mikey.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, so if you're new to the show, welcome. Here we talk about the latest in EDC gear, answer questions from the community, and review pocket dump submissions from our viewers. And if you've listened before, we just want to thank you so much for the support, and a just quick reminder to give a thumbs up, to like the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel. So usually we start with a pocket check. Mikey, why don't you take that away?
Not a lot of new stuff this time. It's going to be related later, but I'm trying to really control the incoming stuff.
Yeah.
I invested in something for the house, actually. Remember when I was talking about the O-Bulb last week? I got the big brother of that. This is the Phoenix CL27R that they sent over. This is, okay, it looks intense. But let me
what is
cook.
that?
It's three-way light. So it's a rotary light that adjusts the brightness. You can control the temperature. So you can go from cool to warm. And in the middle of it is an LED. So you can have like a spotlight, a flood mode, and just like a pure halo mode. So it works as both.
What is around it if the middle is an LED?
More LEDs. So there. You can see in the middle there's an LED, that's the spotlight, and then around it is the spotlight as LEDs, and then they have a combined mode for the maximum output. But it's basically a adjustable lamp, and then the handle of it comes with a handle. These have magnets on the end, so you can. It's stuck now to the side of my desk. So in an emergency, just yank it off the side of my desk. And it's a little emergency light. Yeah. And it goes for about 78 hours or something on the lowest setting. So investing in an emergency light, that's kind of fun. And I can actually use this for photos and everything as well. So
for context for the viewers and the listeners, this is my first time seeing that. Mikey just kept that one close to the chest, I guess, for the reveal on this show. I thought it was like an arc reactor of some kind that you would put on your chest rig, just like full tactical nerd guy, movie buff.
I probably could actually.
Yeah. So that's cool. It kind of reminds me of, like when what I imagine old timey miners would like go into a cave and they hold like the little, or they have it on their helmet or they hold in their hand like a little lantern.
It does.
That's interesting.
And it's also in olive green and black. So it's got that military type thing going on for it.
Yeah.
So really cool. It just came out. We haven't featured it on the site yet. It's about to be featured, but I love the nice knobs. It's very physical rotating knobs here. Other side is the temperature control, and you can use it for photographs. You can use it for emergencies and everything. So yeah, pretty cool. Not really something I take outside. It's just something for the house. But like I said, nothing really new in EDC for me, just to kind of minimize stuff.
Okay. Is it strictly a lighting solution product, or does it have other functions? So there's no power bank. There's no.
It's purely a 21700 based USB-C charging. You can attach it to like a tripod here. Standard 1/8.
But it's still lighting only.
It is. It is. It just lighting.
Wow.
Just does one thing absurdly overly well, I guess. But yeah. So that's it. That's new for quote unquote.
For some
EDC.
reason, that's like surprising to me because I feel like so many new products are trying to do other things. I thought it would have like a Bluetooth speaker with like AI in it or something. You know what I mean?
It looks like it has the size to have extra battery, just to be a power bank, have a speaker.
I appreciate that in like a purist way. So that's pretty cool.
Same. And you know me, I love the rotary controls and stuff. So fits the whole need and the whole theme. So How about you? Anything going new? I know you've gotten a lot
Um,
of stuff in the mail. I just sort it, just filter it
yeah,
down to any
I'm
good stuff.
slowly working through that. But that's like work stuff, I guess. As far as like my personal EDC,
Hmm.
it's like mid September now. I think by the time this episode comes out,
Is
and
it?
that's
God.
yeah, and that's usually when the new Japanese stationery for next year comes out,
Oh boy.
Hobonichi Techo. So I just got these cool like planner covers. So this is it's like a photo of
Everest?
Denali. No, Mount Denali. But it's
Okay.
taken by like a Japanese photographer and it looks kind of like a painting. And I thought that was really cool. And
Mm.
I'm gonna try to invest into this stationary planner system going into 2020. What is next year? 2025?
2025. That's crazy.
Jeez.
We're in the
Um,
future.
yeah.
We're
So
further than
hopefully
the
that
Jetsons.
I know, right? That would be what, like 16 years of doing EDC stuff. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, so that and a matching notebook. So this one I'll probably just use as an interim to-do list
Mhm.
until I can start using next year's planner. But it's kind of an interesting development, or not really a development, but rather coming back to a more analog system with like fountain pens and Japanese stationery, when this past year I was really big on e-ink and like
Yeah.
dumb phones and stuff like that.
You have
That
been
stuff is
going in
starting
that.
to catch on.
Yeah.
So naturally I'm no longer interested. Once the mainstream gets a hold, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of changes in that space. Like Remarkable has their new lineup,
Mm.
and Onyx
videos have
Books.
been
Yeah,
videos have been made about the book's Palma. Therefore,
yeah.
it's, you know.
So I mean, it could be interesting. Like we're seeing this sort of divide between AI powered everything smart flagship technology, and then
Yeah.
people who are maybe not so enthused by that stuff are coming back to the retro, the analog.
I was just talking with some people, and they're so annoyed with the incremental upgrades of the iPhone of the 16 that just came out, and they're talking
Mm.
about what camera can I get instead to get my fix for the cameras, and then I'll just keep my old
Oh,
phone from 5 years ago and
yeah,
just address that need with a specific product for it, just like the simple lamp, right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, and people are kind of disappointed already with modern technology. I'm starting to notice that everybody's kind of losing the gear lust a little bit,
Mm.
just
Hmm.
drawing it back and keeping it simple. And I guess with the trend of the rise of the books palm, now it's becoming mainstream, and the notebook and pen industry is like thriving. So there's must be
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, must be something there.
Yeah, there might be some fatigue around just constantly being on our phones. It was one
Yeah,
thing like during pandemic where we're sort of have no other choice, but then now
yeah,
it's like baked into the expectation of like being connected and connectivity and then productivity and at work and all this stuff. So people maybe they're burned out on it a bit. I think some of that is true for me, but that's a
yeah.
completely different episode, a
Wow.
completely different segment. So yeah, just the new notebooks. I don't even know if I would be EDCing them per se, but I guess this cover kind of suggests that it would be more durable to do that on the go basis anyway.
What's funny is we were talking about a few weeks ago how the field notes seems like it's not being carried anymore by so many people
Mm.
because of the size. And now here you are with a
Yeah,
whole
even
planner.
bigger. I know.
A whole
Even
planner.
definitely not in my pockets, but you know what
Yeah.
does fit in my pockets? The
Hmm.
sponsor of today's video. And like always, it is my Ridge wallet. So I have my Ridge wallet still in my EDC in titanium with the matching key case. And this is my setup these days. If you don't know Ridge, it's a minimalist RFID blocking wallet that's perfect for most minimalist EDCs in a bunch of different colors and materials. It has RFID blocking technology. You can fit cash on it, and you can learn more at our link ridge.com/carried away, and you can also save 10% off your order. They make all sorts of stuff besides these wallets and key cases. We have knives, rings, luggage, that sort of thing. Disclaimer, they are the parent company of everydaycarry.com, so if you buy from our links, it also supports the show. So thank you for that, and thank you to Ridge for sponsoring this episode. So with that out of the way, we can move into our news segment. Yeah, so here we have the latest from Dispatch, the SF based bag maker. And this is in their R&D line, so the research and development line. And this has lots of technical materials in two like sling bag silhouettes. So we have like a smaller sling bag here. This is the unit sling. And then this is the one that I'm interested in. Just the shoulder bag, like the messenger bag, the big boys. Remember these? Like I think this is, look how big and
I
cool.
know. I was trying to figure out how big is this thing. It looks like just a handbag sized bag, and then I scrolled down and I saw that the on person, okay, that's a big boy.
Yeah, this is a big boy. This used to, like I remember in streetwear, these kinds of bags, these like bike messenger bags used to be pretty cool and like big. And then we kind of the trend sort of went to the smaller, you know, sling bag on crossbody on the front, like the Lululemon pouch, kind of thing. But I kind of dig the statement that this makes.
Even the smaller ones. So these come in two sizes. That's the 12-liter one. And the smaller one is 6 liters. But also, if you scroll down to the on body, it's also pretty large.
Yeah, it's still pretty big. This is, I think, even bigger than the one that I have from them, just like a sling bag. So these are in the larger categories.
Yeah, I was wearing the tiny 1-liter vertical sling a few weeks ago, and these are 6 and 12 times bigger than that.
Liter, and then this is what? Yeah, 12-liter. So, but there are just some cool designs here besides just how big it is, right?
Yeah, I love. There's some.
I love this. No, to me, this is sick. I just this one detail of hardware, just like the clear fid lock on the otherwise black Dyneema with the white pull. That I think that is sick. That's just like a cool contrast detail that I appreciate personally.
I like the color blocking even in the other models. So it comes in 3. It comes in the main one, Dyneema, which is where usually they end up with the R&D bags. It usually starts with the Dyneema base. And then they have 3 other Echo Pack ones, which is, I believe, the competitor to X-Pack. It's recycled laminate. So 3 other color blocking colorways for that. Really cool. I love the kind of military inspired aesthetic, but it's a combination. So there's olive and green and black, and like you, I really like that standout transparent fidlock buckle. Just that one point of detail, exactly where the strap is going to be on your back, hanging on your back. I think that's a really cool detail.
Yeah, I
just
really
love the wraparound.
Yeah, how Dispatch uses all these different kinds of hardware too. Just like in their bag strap system, because then you can get like different add-ons and stuff, and these things are like kind of fairly modular, I would say. But it's kind of expensive to buy into that whole system. I think this on its own is fairly capable, at least from the features I've seen. I haven't handled this. This just hit our desk this morning.
Just this morning.
So pretty cool. But yeah, these are kind of, a little bit on the pricier side, almost $300 before tax here, but they are made in the USA and they are using pretty much top of the line materials and hardware as far as I know. So
research and development, it does cost a little bit, but you do get cutting edge stuff, and that's pretty much what Dispatch has been known for a while now. They're pretty.
Oh, this is the one that I have. It's smaller.
Yeah. And I have the smallest one, ironically, the little vertical sling. And check out the new slings. They also, Bernard was saying, they have a bunch of modular stuff that's based on magnets and attachments and little pockets and stuff. So I haven't seen this one. That's pretty like a Batman utility belt type thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of bandoliers full of knocks, here we go.
And vertical access, by the way. So like this is exactly the use case I was looking for, like a dump pocket for a camera. So Dispatch does have some roots in photography and stuff, and they are based in SF. So just pretty cool. Like they've been around for as long as I've been doing this, I think. Yeah, so it's always fun to show them some love. And so I think some of the viewers are just like, what are the the sensibilities of Bernard and Mikey when it comes to bags? Like this is a bag that I find exciting. So
same.
Yeah.
The 3A1 bag that my Grail sling bag is kind of around this silhouette as well. It's kind of a
Yeah.
wrap around Y wedge type thing that wraps around the body and has a technical strap and all of that. So this feels and looks like an evolution of that with much bigger space
Hmm. I
and
was gonna
much
say,
cheaper too, considering.
sure, yes. And to that point, I was gonna say this reminds me of way back when I started in streetwear and like fashion and stuff, Japanese fashion. There's like Visvim. They had like this ECAT bag, and it reminds me of
Ooh.
this. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, speaking of fashion, we can jump into the next one, which is
Yeah.
not quite that, but it is this low profile EDC belt
Okay.
from Crush Everything. So, Mikey, tee
Yeah.
this up for us.
This is one for me because I am in a bunch of belt discussions for some reason. People are always asking about belts. I used to rock the 511 TDU belt. I don't know if you remember that.
Hmm.
It's one of
I
their
do.
military inspired belts. It was two-sided. It has a plastic buckle that was really robust, so you could take it through the airport through checkpoints. So it
Oh,
was really
okay.
convenient as well. So this is kind of like along those lines of very robust. In this case, it's also meant for attachments for CCW and all of that. So it
Hmm.
was designed for those folks who need that kind of functionality.
Hmm.
And why is a belt exciting? People are always asking me about robust belts for some reason, and boots. That whole aspect of
Yeah.
everyday wear. And this is along the lines of people who this is designed for the people who want the highest performance type of belt, and functional too, because it has some hidden pockets in it. So this is
Some
literally,
hidden pockets. It's
yeah.
like entirely hidden pockets.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
believe it has two or three hidden pockets in wrapped into the sewn into the belt itself. And
Hmm.
this is the company itself is Dynamis. They make the
Hmm.
fancy screwdriver that I have. So this is from them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How
So
come it says crusheverything.com? Is that just like their tagline?
yeah, that is a tagline. There it says
Oh,
Dynamis there
interesting.
on that on the corner
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I see, I
But
see.
yeah, so robust belt. It's Velcro, very minimal metal parts. You can hide stuff in it. It's made of super tough webbing, 1.5-inch standard
Uh-huh.
belt size for CCW. It's for those anything belt attachments and belt loop type things that you need to attach to your belt sheaths and the like. So yeah,
Yep.
for some reason I keep getting dragged into discussions about belts. Here you go.
Uh-huh.
I
There
have a
there
strong
we go.
suggestion.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't make anything smaller than a 26. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not smaller
Wow.
than a
All right.
26. But let's see. This is also made in the USA. So another made in the USA product in our news cycle.
Yeah.
And yeah, three hidden pockets. What are you hiding, Mikey? An
A
almond and a
neck,
button?
an almond in the button, and an extra
Uh,
neck.
okay. Well, thank you for that. I'm glad you have some low profile storage for that. So speaking of low profile storage, wow, I'm good with the transitions today. Let's jump into the next piece. Yeah, this is from our friends at Orbitkey, the Nest V2. So if you
Mm.
guys aren't familiar with the Nest, it's kind of like a combination between hard shell storage for tech, but also desk organizer. Is that
Mm.
is that like a fair description of the
And
Nest?
also, it's also sized just enough to you can slip it into your bag. So it's a pouch. It's a hard pouch slash
Yeah.
desk caddy slash tech storage. It's a very interesting
Oh,
use
and
case.
valet tray. It's also a
Valet
valet
tray.
tray.
Yeah.
Yes, and but the valet tray charges via like Qi wireless, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this
Yeah.
is the V2. V1 came out a few years ago, pre-pandemic even, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Yep. Yep.
And they made upgrades to this one to make the side walls of the bottom area taller to accommodate the newer MacBook chargers,
Yeah.
and also they've upped the charging uh, tray
Speed.
to 15 watts, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but generally the same form factor. And again, it's a very unique use case. It's either you're gonna be like, I get what this is for. I could use something like this.
Yes. Yeah. Or you're giving. Yeah. You're just like, why would I have a lunchbox for my desk or something?
I've
Yeah.
honestly, I have one. I've been using it just as a desk caddy, just to charge on my phone and to have some
Hmm.
pens and notebooks in the inside, and just a place to put my EDC so it doesn't scratch because the top of it is leather.
Right.
But yeah, So yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly it. It's either you're gonna have the exact use case for this. Oh man, I could use a
Yeah.
hard shell for my tech that I could slip easily into my bag, or what the heck is
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I gotta say, I really like the way they're styling this and showing the functionality of this.
Yeah.
I had one. I think Orbitkey sent it to me for their original Kickstarter. I
Yeah.
used it for a little bit. I tested for a little bit, and then I was like, you know, who would like this? Like my little brother, who's a product designer, who's just like into design. He's always at his desk, and he has that workstation. He has a bunch of tech.
Yeah.
So I think this is good for like a digital nomad kind of creative person.
Hmm.
I think this is would be right up their alley.
It's interesting
So
also the internal compartment. You have these little standoffs that you can move around. So
yeah,
you can
these.
secure there. You can secure exactly the space for the product if you don't want it shaking around in your bag or if you're
Mhm.
on the move. So yeah, pretty interesting concept. It's a very,
Yeah,
very, very interesting concept.
because usually when you see these types of um, pouch organizers, it's webbing, right? Webbing that
Right.
holds things in place, like some
Yeah.
kind of elastic, and this is not that. So it's a divider.
There is
I
some
think
of
that's
that on
pretty innovative.
the lid of it, on the back of it. There's some mesh pocket
Oh
and card
yeah, yeah,
slots.
yeah.
So they have thought of they've maximized the space is what I want to say.
Hmm.
And yeah, very interesting use case. Some people like I also got my wife one, and she uses it strictly as a pencil case and a charger. So it's just full of pens for her. So
Okay,
she
okay.
likes the fact that it's a loose place that you can just grab a pen from, and on the top of it you can just drop her phone and charge it. So pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, new one from Orbitkey. Always making some beautiful looking gear. So, let's jump into our community questions for the week. So, if you guys want to ask us a question to be answered on the show, you can do that most easily through our Instagram every Monday or so before the new episode comes out. We'll post an Instagram story with a poll so you can ask questions there and we'll see them and they'll pop up just like this. Or you can also send us your questions in a comment or at podcast
Podcast.
at
Everyday care.
everydaycare.com in an email. I was trying to think, what do you call those things that are like letters, but they're on the internet? Ah, yes, email. Yeah. So let's jump into a few of these. So we have a lot of repeat question askers. So I appreciate you guys. Kaiju01 asks, what's the most unusual EDC item you can't live without?
We were just talking about this earlier, and I have one that's literally I can't live without, which is a new CPAP machine.
Let's go.
unfortunately,
Yes.
unfortunately, it's going to be part of my EDC for life.
Yeah, your
Unfortunately,
lifelong carry.
the actual
Yeah.
buy it for life product.
Mm.
So that is
Yeah. Buy
in
it for
both
life or
or
else. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah. CPAP
but
machine.
just a side quest from that one. I was choosing between the main desktop one or they make the travel kinds now, but I
Hmm.
opted for the larger one just for a bit more convenient. Ironically, even though it's bigger. But anyway, yeah, that is the most unusual thing I could probably come up with. Do you have anything unusual?
Ah, not really, because this is a hard question because it asks unusual, and
Yeah.
I want to say something about my phone or some iteration of the phone that I have. It's usually either like top of the line flagship phone that I use for work, or it's the opposite of that, some kind of dumb phone that's like nerfed in its functionality, so I don't get that.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I care enough about either of them to be like I can't live without them. Ideally, I don't live with any of them, and I can just raw dog life without a phone. But
I've always found that the most unique thing you carry in recent years was the loop earbuds. Do you still
the
carry those?
earplugs,
Earplugs,
yeah,
yeah.
I have them. They're like hidden everywhere that I'm gonna be. So I have some in my car. I have some in my bag. So but I could live without them. I could live without them, and yeah. So
Yeah.
I guess that's maybe the closest answer, just hearing protection. But I feel like a broken record when I say that all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need to come up with something even more out there and unique and cool and helpful. So I will think about that some more.
But to give us some credit, we are trying to minimize stuff. So we're not we're it's becoming a difficult question for us because we're trying to minimize and curate the stuff that we have because we've already run the gamut of having too much stuff. So now we're
Yeah.
trying to like bring it back, step back a little
Yeah.
bit, and maybe that
And
is the unusual EDC thing.
it's some
Unusually
sense of restraint.
sparse.
Yeah.
I know.
A sense of
Or
restraint. I can't live without it. So
yeah,
I think though that perhaps resonates with a bunch of other listeners now because we're getting multiple questions that are sort of in that same flavor. So
yeah.
Antoine Thornton asks, you can only carry 3 items. What do you choose? So this
Hmm.
is like fairly open-ended in terms of interpretation.
Hmm.
And I think the usual answer for most people would probably be phone, wallet, keys.
Phone wallet keys.
Is
Phone
that your
wallet
actual
keys.
answer though?
No, I can be without my phone, and I can be without my
Wow.
keys.
Okay. Okay.
I think wallet is going to be the most essential one of those. And I think,
Interesting.
gosh, I think I can leave it with just the wallet, to be honest. And maybe earphones. I don't know if that's
Mm.
just
But
because if I'm
bro is listening to his wallet right now with his
oh
earphone.
yeah, oh my god, you got me,
Yeah.
you got me. Okay,
No, but that one set of earbuds that I showed last week, they're like the wireless earphones that have AI and a SIM card. That's like a
mm,
phone and earbuds and potentially a wallet if it has that function. Anyway,
fair, fair.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I
maybe we'll
think
get there to a point where you can just get by with a wallet and earbuds.
yeah, phone, wallet, keys. I guess phone is I mean, super easy answer, but we've answered a couple of times already. I think flashlight is going to be one of my essentials. I just
Mm.
I find it hard to not have a flashlight, and if not the flash, oh my gosh, okay, it's adding up. But phone,
Yeah, 3. Remember, this is the exercise. Restraints.
phone, earphones, and some type of tool. I can get away from the flashlight because the phone has a rudimentary light source. But I can go with a multi-tool, a
Mm.
small multi-tool, a phone, and earphones. Just because I'm gonna go
Mm.
crazy if I don't have any entertainment, I don't want to bother other people.
Mm.
I
Okay,
hate
okay.
people who. Okay, guys, you gotta go on silent when you're in public or put your earphones on. Okay, it's not. I,
I
I
think that's a
it,
cultural thing. I feel like
okay.
hmm
It's very
because
curmudgeonly of me.
in some parts of Asia, like people are, silent in public. But then I would
Mm.
say maybe yeah, maybe in the Philippines, not so much. In America, I don't think so either. Cuz like I used to live in New York, like people who are not silent in train cars.
Are
So
they are they just on speaker talking to somebody at full volume?
oh
Are
yeah,
they
or they're
that
just they
level?
bring a boombox and like blast stuff. Yeah.
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 How about you? What's your answer? I'm gonna go phone, earphones, and multi-tool.
Ooh, it's hard. I hate to admit it, but I think I would want to carry a phone of some kind. Um,
Mm,
yeah, because being connected to people when I'm not physically with them is important to me, is something I value. And I think I would just have one. Like, if I could get away with a dumb phone and not have to need a smartphone for like work stuff, like that would be cool. I would love to do that.
mm.
So I think I do have to keep my phone. And then, hmm, depending on the phone, I might need wallet and keys. That's such a boring answer, but maybe that's why it is the way it is. Maybe that's why everybody has that. So,
True. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That is pretty hard. I like when I'm thinking outside the phone wallet keys, I feel really attached to my watch. I feel like I would want a watch,
Yeah.
but that's more of like a it's not even utilitarian at that point. I feel like it just feels like a part of me and I kind of want that.
I do feel naked when I walk out of the house without a watch. Like I forgot
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, same. So
I feel
I
so
think the
naked.
watch.
Empty wrists. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I would and it's like I could get by with using the phone to tell the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be the
So,
best compromise, right? The phone will
mhm.
just have the watch and the light, just as a unfair compromise.
I know.
Yeah.
Damn, I think this
Too
question
OP.
just reveals how much the phone is doing for all of us.
Right.
Um, and maybe
And
that is
even
slightly
and
worrisome.
even my use case of like wanting the phone for entertainment, not even communication, just shows how
Oh,
OP it actually is. I want it for a
yeah.
book
I didn't
or
go there. Yeah.
or a movie or music, just something to keep me entertained,
True.
and not
Okay.
actually using it for doom scrolling or whatever or social media.
Hmm.
Yeah, so phone is OP. That's what we've determined.
Yeah.
Wins every
Yeah.
time.
I think I would do if depending on the car I had and the place that the type of like locks in the place that I lived, I could probably do phone, earphones, and watch.
Nice. No knife, no tool, no nothing. Just
Yeah, I
insufficient
guess I'm the tool.
capability.
Yeah, I'm the tool in that carry, I
you're,
think.
you're the
So
fourth item.
yeah, so there we go.
There you go.
But then furthering this sort of exercise of this question, White Flag Gear asks, would it be possible for you to keep only one favorite item in each of the categories? So for example, a watch, a knife, wallet,
Yeah.
etc.
This is an interesting question because I was going to ask you this week in the pursuit of
Mm-hmm.
slimming down and curation. Could you start over with nothing and just get one piece of gear in each category? And to follow that up, what would they be?
What kind of budget are we talking here?
Let's say unlimited budget. Let's say it can be one thing. It can be gray level stuff for you, but it has to be
Okay.
one thing. If you could get rid of everything in your collection, just everything burned away, everything's
Uh-huh.
gone. What
And
would
then
you? What would be the next thing you buy to complete your one item in EDC?
I've heard a similar question where it's like say if I don't know, I have this knife or something and I lost it, would I buy it tomorrow? Like rebuy it
Ooh,
tomorrow? You know, that's another
gosh,
way
it's a
to kind
good
of frame
follow
it.
up. Dang,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good one
Mm.
too. Yeah, so if you lost everything today and you had an unlimited, some kind EDC stranger said, pick one of anything, we'll order it right now.
Yeah.
What is the knife? What is the light? What is the tool? What is
Ooh.
the bag? What is the. Well, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it down to maybe 4 or 5 items: knife, light,
That's
right,
even that is such a
watch.
hard question. I don't think I can even come up with a list of 5 right now. And I was thinking about this in my personal life, just about my watches, for example.
Mm,
So I always feel kind of like sheepish sharing about this, but like my watch collection right now is at like 10 plus watches. But like of
mhm,
my core collection that I think of as my collection and not things that get rotated in to test or like I picked up or were gifted or stuff like that, right? The things that
mhm,
I intentionally sought out to create the system that is the collection and how it fits into my life. I have 10. I have 10 in
mhm.
there. That's a
I know.
lot. I only have 2 wrists, you know?
7 days and 2 wrists.
Yeah, what am I going to do? So I thought about like, how can I get this down? And I thought getting it down to 6 watches was going to be hard. I think I can do it, but even then, I'm just like, man, this feels like I'm missing something. And I don't know where that mentality comes from. But to
I
bring it
know.
down to 1, I think I could do it. Is it the watch I'm wearing right now? It might be the watch I'm wearing right now.
Which is.
So, so it's the one I did a video on YouTube. This is the Grand Seiko SGH. Sorry, I need to get my head out of the way.
That's
Grand
what I
Seiko
would have chosen for
SGH
you.
311.
I think that's
Yeah,
what I would have chosen for you.
and the reason why I can narrow this down is because it is smaller, so it can go in formal and like everyday wear. So it's 37 millimeters, has a date complication and a high beat movement. So it's like fairly accurate and it can last a long time if it's serviced properly. And then it has date, which I think is useful for my work because we have like deadlines and content calendars and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, it's also water resistant to 100 meters, so that will cover most things. And then it also has a bracelet option and the strap, so then I can wear it depending on if I'm doing like sports and like everyday stuff or I want something more formal. And
Yeah.
it's like from my favorite brand. It's a limited edition, um, and I don't think it has like a story attached to it, but I did buy it myself.
The story is Grand Seiko's the end of the line for uh,
Mm,
a lot of mechanical watches. It's
yeah,
primo end game, end of the line
sure.
movement. Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, and it's also like a neutral dial color. So,
Yeah.
yeah, to do that exercise of what I just did, where it's like, how can I justify this being the only one for everything else for all the other categories of EDC? I think is very hard.
I
So,
have literally I've been looking at it this entire week. My closet. I am trying to get
mhm.
my knives down to maybe 5, and I'm only using maybe 3 on a regular basis. And
Mhm.
the 3 that I'm using aren't even my total actual favorites. So now I'm torn between nostalgia, between stuff I've wanted for a really, really long time versus actual practical stuff. Because if I go with the just practical stuff, I have an easy answer for maybe one or two. But then
Okay.
to think about getting rid of all of the rest, oh my god, I don't. I it feels like I'm cutting off literally a part of myself to get rid of the other stuff
Oh,
because they have stories attached to them. They have long desires and long periods of saving up to buy them, and the
right.
pleasure of ownership and the unboxing, and that I finally have my knife, and then it's in a display case, but I'm not using it. So there's that aspect of it. I'm just looking at
Ah,
it, so it's not really practical. So it becomes this juggle of practicality versus personal story versus nostalgia versus actual usability.
sure.
It's so hard. So would it be possible? Probably not. But I am trying to get it down. But okay, so you have an answer for the watch. I don't know if I have an answer for even one category, man. I don't know.
Well, what I'm noticing in your response is just like a lot of attachment and
There is.
narrative around these physical things that won't last when you die.
They
So,
can yeah.
and you are
There's no
changing as a
EDCing.
person.
There's no
Yeah,
EDCing in
exactly.
the next
N-
stage. Yeah.
Yep. So maybe it's time to let some of that go. So maybe once you learn to let go
Oh
conceptually
my
of the significance that you've spun up in your narratives and your story and your attachments to them, then it will be easier to pick an answer.
god. Okay. I
But
have
I
one
had to go through that similar process.
I have one. I'll probably go with Leatherman Arc. That's probably the easiest answer I can make
Oh, of the multi-tool category?
of the multi-tool. But that can
Ooh.
also, even if I never buy another knife, I think I would be okay. I think I would be okay because that's a
Yeah.
Magna Cut blade. I have a bit driver, favorite multi-tool brand. It's got most of the things I'm gonna need for the foreseeable future for an urban type lifestyle. I think I would be good with just the multi-tool. I think. So I have one answer.
Okay.
I have one answer.
Yeah, kind
There
of
you
the
go.
cop out answer. You pick the one like category that has all the other tools built into it.
I know, gosh.
Jeez.
But
Jeez.
the watches,
Okay.
oh, it would kill me to lose all of them, but I don't even have an answer. That's probably, oh my God, let me think about this. We'll come back to this one.
Yeah, I think we come
This
back
will,
to that
this
in
is
a
its
long
own
time from
show.
now.
This
Yeah,
is its
yeah.
own show, honestly.
You know, a lot of people were asking us on Discord and stuff, and sometimes in the comments, just like, "Hey, I want to see a collection of what you guys have." So
I
maybe
know.
Mikey and I can do an episode where we talk through our watch collection and why, or that can be like a separate episode. So if you guys are interested in watch content, I'd be curious because we do talk a lot about like knives and bags on the shows and
Mhm.
sometimes flashlights, but
Yeah.
we can yap a lot about watches, I think.
About
So
everything, I think.
yeah.
To be honest.
So maybe we should move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Noir Hound asks, so what's your first slip joint knife? And have you EDC'd a slip joint knife?
Unfortunately.
Absolutely. Okay,
Unfortunately for me.
unfortunately, why? Isn't that like the only legal thing you can carry over there?
Okay, so my very first slip joint was a Boy Scout pocket knife that I found in my
Oh,
grandfather's
yes.
closet that I just stole right from under him. Because like
Uh-huh.
I wanted a knife, I didn't have anything else yet, and I found this. Ooh, this shiny knife. I have no responsibility as a
Uh-huh.
maybe 8-year old kid. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna yoink this from
Yeah.
my grandfather's desk and play with it at home. And guess what
Hmm.
happens when you play at home when you're a young kid and you have no idea about locking systems and slip joints? Guess what happens next? I snapped this thing right onto my
Uh-huh.
fingers and had to go to the hospital and get some
Oh,
stitches.
damn.
So, yeah, so it was a very, very stiff. This was a very, very old and rusted pocket knife that he used when he was a kid in the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts growing up, and I stole it. This is maybe a 70-year-old tool, and I closed
Ooh.
it. I closed the very thin and very sharp, very repeatedly sharpened blade right onto my
Hmm.
fingers, straight to the bone. So, yikes! I had some explaining to do, and very important lesson about locking systems and slip joints.
Okay. Okay.
So that is my first slip joint knife. That is my first
Yeah.
slip joint story.
So not the glowing recommendation, I think. I think that's the takeaway.
It's a. I think it's a glowing recommendation for a very important lesson learned. So
Ah,
much
yes.
later, I
Knife
was much
safety.
more careful with slip
Okay.
joint knives. But
Yeah.
do you have a modern slip joint that you carried in the past few years?
Well, my first slip joint most likely would be Victorinox Swiss Army.
Mm.
So I think that's maybe the first for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like I have this one that I just pulled out of the drawer. This one's really old. Like it used to have some like rubberized coating to it, and it's like turned brown now. It used to be black, and then it's peeling off the back. It looks like sunburn, and it's just like peeling. It's like kind of nasty. And then it says on the blade, "Your companion for life on the road." So this must be some special edition that I don't remember, but I have it still, and I pulled it out of my drawer, and I even made like a little paracord lanyard for it.
Huh.
So yeah, I think this used to be my daily. Is it the climber? I don't remember, but it has corkscrew, so not my preferred. I used to carry the Tinker, the Super Tinker, and then I've had multiple keychain ones. And I would say I EDC'd those and used those as my primary blades. And I don't think I ever had it close on me or had any accidents like that. But if anyone's looking for like a no-brainer recommendation for a slip joint knife, it's hard to go wrong with a Victorinox Swiss Army, I would say. And then probably what you're kind of alluding to before with the other answer is one that I still have, but I keep it in my car. It's the Spyderco Roadie. I talk about this one a lot.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't even remember what the blade steel is. It's like some obscure, like multiple string of number and leather blade steels, like NO9 something. Yeah, I forget. But that one's really cool and not as bulky as a multi-layer Swiss Army knife. It's just like purely a two-stage slip joint with Spyderco ergonomics, super friendly looking, gets the job done. And I think that was my deep carry EDC in New York because I couldn't carry locking knives in New York that were pretty big. So that is one that I would carry, and I recommend it to people that are from like across the pond in the UK asking for recommendations because they also have strict knife laws. So
I think I've carried all three of the Victorinox ALX ones: the Cadet, the Farmer X, and the Pioneer X. But I've been meaning the first one was probably the Cadet because that's probably everybody's first Cadet. I mean, everybody's first modern EDC that's not the multi-layer bulky ones. But I've been meaning to get one of them again, the single layer ones. It's either the one with just the blade in it, and it's the Alox scales. I believe I just looked it up.
Is it the Bantam?
The Bantam has the bottle opener. I believe it's called the Swiss Army 1 Alox, which is just the blade.
I didn't even know about that, to be honest.
And then there's a Swiss Army 2, which has the hook-shaped blade. So that's a single layer, but double layer, but it has two blades. But there's a single blade one, which is the Swiss Army 1 Alox.
So this one has two.
Yeah, so that's the 2. The 1 is the one with just the blade. There you go.
When did this come out? Why does this feel like new to me?
Yeah, I know, right? I've been meaning. Cool. I just love this form factor, but I've always found the 3 and 4 and even 5 layer ones for the Farmer X, they're just way too bulky. And I figure if I could slim it down to just a single layer, I think it would be perfect. And this is the thinnest. This is a single tool. This is as thin as you can go for the Alox one. So.
But does this even have like a? It doesn't even have a
clip or
lanyard attachment point. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of like the around square knife. It's just gonna sit there. Probably.
Okay.
You're just gonna
my around square knife has a clip. I don't know about yours.
Oh, I chose one without the clip.
Okay.
Because I use it lefty, and the clip's gonna be useless to me anyway. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully that answers the question. I mean, we have used them. I used them for a considerable amount of time when I was living in New York for 5 years.
Yeah. I've done considerable damage to myself with one, and looking to do more apparently. So
yeah, I would like to see more slip joints out there. You know, not everyone needs like full on locking systems. I know a lot of people do, but I would say a lot of people can just get by with slip joint for around the house kind of stuff.
I have been chasing this brand, Great Eastern Cutlery. They make traditional slip joints. Oh, but they're so hard to get and they're so expensive.
They are, but they're well made from what I remember.
Yeah, they're large, they're very robust. They're made, I believe, made in the USA also.
Yeah, and like very traditional.
Very traditional. Comes in nice packaging. The full the full experience of a modern, extremely well built traditional. It's just they're so hard to get. The one I want specifically is also the most popular one, the sheep's foot one, GC93. If anybody has one for sale, let me know.
Okay.
I might look into it. But yeah, that's one of the grails like in the back of my head that I've been wanting all these years. Great Eastern Cutlery sheep's foot. Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some
So thank you,
recommendations, some
Norhand.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope that helps. Let's jump into everyone's favorite, the pocket dumps for this week.
Ooh, let's go.
So we will start with this. This is from Guy Buttersnaps96 on our subreddit. This is r/everyday carry. And so they said some things aren't in the photo since they can't leave work, but these are always in my pocket. So there's a watch from Walmart, Victorinox. Wait, hold on. This is yeah, okay. So this is their watch from Walmart, Victorinox Fieldmaster, Leatherman Raptor Rescue, the Streamlight ProTac, a generic cat tourniquet, Leatherman Skeletal CX, their wallet, and then their vice of choice. So can zoom in a little bit here. Take a look at that. Oh, this is one of the newer Leatherman Raptors,
yeah,
right?
The colored ones,
The color,
two-tone colored ones. Yeah,
and this one looks pretty new compared to the rest of their gear. Their gear is pretty used.
I wanted to ask you: do you have a first aid kit and or a trauma kit that you've built out?
Me personally?
Yeah, you personally.
Definitely not a trauma kit. I don't even own firearm. And first aid kit, not like a really robust one. I have something that approximates that was given to me by Leatherman to review, and I didn't use everything in it, so that's just chilling in my car. And then I just have like a pre-packed one around the house, which I know you want me to like make a curated one that's for my needs specifically, but it's better than nothing, and it's mainly for guests. So that's kind of where I went with that. But why do you ask?
No, because I asked because I've always wanted to build a trauma kit as well, just as a just number one as an exercise, and just as a one of those build ones and you keep it and you hopefully never have to use it, unlike a first aid kit. And it just reminded me because this guy's carrying a tourniquet, and they make some really small tourniquets now. There's one that's been featured in some of the books I read. It's called the Snake Staff Systems ETQ Everyday Tourniquet. It's a very, very small version of that standard CAT tourniquet, because that's fairly large, right? If you compare it to the right beside
anything
the Raptor.
else in here. Yeah
It's fairly large, so they are making these a bit more affordable tourniquets that are smaller. And I've always toyed with the idea of wanting to build like a trauma kit, just you know, you never know, just if you're driving around, it's just that final layer of first aid for the extreme emergencies. And I've always wanted to build one. I mean, why not? Just got reminded because of this guy's tourniquet.
And for some added context, I believe they're an EMT. I think that's what they said. Firefighter/EMT. And then this is their standard ambulance work carry, excluding the things that they can't show that have to stay at work. So it makes sense that they would have these types of tools, like first responder tools and whatnot. So pretty cool to see like what actual firefighter EMTs carry. Leatherman Raptor Rescue.
I love the redundancies also. This is like a quadruple redundancy with a multi-tool and a multi-tool sheath. I'm sorry, a multi-tool shears and another multi-tool beside it.
Yeah. But yeah, I could see this covering like all the other tool type things and like tweezers and whatnot, and then this be maybe the primary blade, and then this being the first response one.
Speaking of brown Victorinox.
No, this is the standard Celador.
Oh, is it red? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's
the lighting
red.
to me looked brown.
The lighting is just a little cool and harsh. And then this is the Wounded Warrior Project version. So, yeah, looks good. Base is covered, makes sense for the job, and you can see like lots of wear. And then the things that are new. But I trust that this person gets it done and uses these things. Hopefully, not like all the time and to like a dangerous, not dangerous degree, but like a dramatic degree, right? Hopefully, people are staying safe out there. But you know, when emergencies happen, this is like a pretty trust inspiring carry, I would say.
And you mentioned earlier, I do love seeing more I don't know, more tradesmen and what would you call this line of work? Not just like EMT firefighter, more. How would you
It's
describe that
like
line of
I,
um,
I don't know, like in the field, on the
field
job,
work?
just not information work that we do.
Yeah, not desk divers for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
people are
Uh,
actually doing work outside.
Wait, Mike, you're not doing work? No, just
Don't
kidding. Okay, we can
don't
move
tell
on.
my boss.
Yeah, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's him.
this is another submission here. This one is from WKF Clark, and again, this is from our subreddit, and they are a designer slash sign shop print operator.
Hmm.
And let's just take a quick scan here, and then we'll jump into the item list in their comment. Oh, but man, this stuff looks good.
You know me
Okay.
and my fixies. This guy loves his fixies too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. They're. I will just read out their item list while we look
Sure.
at this. Yeah. So there's the Casio G-Shock Gravity Master. That's the GPW 1000T. Twisted Assisted Bar Keep. The Leatherman Charge TI from 2006. A Winkler operator and pocket sheath. A Fox 599
Winkler, nice.
TIC. Is this the karambit?
Yeah,
They
Fox
got a
Karambit.
venom. Yeah, they got a venom bead, Subota Pearl Bulbo lighter. I think that's up here. Mech Army GP1 spinner in Damascus. Fine tip Sharpie, Mitsubishi pencil company Uniball I Fine pen. Interesting. And then Sony W1000 XM5s.
I
Yeah.
also one of the reasons I also like this is he has one of the fidget spinners that looks like the original. The remember the torque bar?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that one. That the original fidget spinner for the before the
Mm-hmm.
tri plastic one became popular. Kind of
Mm-hmm.
looks like that very first one. And man, he has a Winkler knife. Always wanted one of those.
Mm. Man, so interesting, like uh preference for the karambit style things. Right, like I don't even know how to describe this. This is a karambit pry bar.
It's a it's a bottle opener.
It's a bottle
That
opener, but then like is this not a chisel ended
yeah, it
pry bar kind
is.
of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
this is the bottle opener part, and then
Yeah,
there's probably even more like a driver thing here maybe.
yeah, driver scraper type end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Man likes his retainer rings. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do appreciate it. I just find just like a minor rant about karambits. I've loved karambits ever since. Like not even even before the Raid 2 came out. I've
Mm-hmm.
loved karambits as a knife design.
Oh, I
It's
thought you
just
were
so
gonna say as a
freaking
Southeast Asian person.
also it's
Uh-huh.
just so freakingly hard to use normally because of the curve. It's
Yes.
so inconvenient to use for. I mean, you could in a normal overhand grip. It's just that it's so unwieldy with that huge curve
Yeah.
out the front. And I've owned so many karambits over the years, and I never use them because that extra step of being inconvenient to use versus
Hmm.
the CRKT one with the EDC blade with a normal drop point blade. I appreciate that a lot more now.
Right.
Yeah,
I Now that you mention it, this kind of is like an interesting choice of setup for their bladed options compared to most EDCs, right? Most
yeah,
EDCers would probably not opt for like this kind of fixed blade and then this is a folding karambit now, and
yeah,
then this kind of tool. So pretty interesting. I wonder if they like train in any martial arts in that way to kind
yeah,
of have that proficiency, because like you're saying, it's difficult to use. Like I have the CRKT Provoke EDC version, and
yeah,
even that, which is designed for EDC use and utilitarian, like everyday civilian type use, that is still kind of unintuitive, I guess,
yeah,
despite it being very well designed. So if you guys are more curious about karambits and the design philosophy and like all of that, we have like this amazing interview with Joe Caswell. I think it's like my one of my favorite episodes, but that's on the old channel. We can link that at some point. But yeah,
yeah.
otherwise, like bases covered here. What would you close this with? I would say they. I wonder if there was like a karambit flashlight, would they carry that too? Because I don't think they have a flashlight here.
a fidgety flashlight. There are some of those, but yeah, yeah, like you said, you would normally see a folder somewhere, but no, it's a larger ish fixed blade, a karambit that's not really
I know.
usual for every day, and a very very unusual bartender tool that's also kind of like a self defense tool type thing.
Mhm.
So it's very interesting tactical eclectic mix of martial arts based and tactical based stuff. So kind of leaning towards my side of the design and the carry stuff, but
Sure.
yeah, I mean, I like it. Obviously,
Yeah. And then lastly, just to like contextualize this a bit, they are like a designer and a sign shop printer. So I feel like the pens make sense, and then everything else, I'm just like curious how that fits into their day to day. But
I think they know their stuff because you don't randomly run into a Winkler knife
oh yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
randomly buy a Winkler. Now that's a very intentional purchase decision to buy that kind of fixed
yeah,
blade. So yeah,
yeah. So um, really interesting stuff. Appreciate this submission. Just to like, if anything, to put on the community to less traditional stuff, right? Just explore new stuff. So I think
yeah.
that's cool. So thank you for
Show
that.
us the unique stuff that you can't live without.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then coming up on our third submission here. Oh, this one's like kind of
This is
tech and
Bernard leading
accessories.
now.
Yeah, maybe. So this one is from Grimspoon. They said it's their Friday carry and bag dump. Not what I carry every day, but what I happen to have on a leisurely Friday afternoon earlier today. So wow, there's a lot of stuff here. They
There's
got
a
their
lot.
Panasonic Lumix GM1 um, with extra batteries, their Boker Nano knife.
Wow, I haven't seen a Boker Nano in like
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah, they
One of the
got
first
some
small ones. Yeah.
aviators and then reading glasses, their Omega Planet Ocean Chrono, very nice. They got their leather wallet from Ashland Leather. They have a Miyu Mini V3, that's this handheld emulator here. They have a power bank, silver Sharpie, Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra with a caseology case, fob to their F-150. They got a jump drive attached to it, so USB drive. Haven't seen those in those in a while. 128 gigs, two
Hmm.
titanium carabiners, a Wesen microblade in titanium, and then some titanium key rings. So pretty cool. I think there's more to this gallery, so we can kind of see it at different angles. Ooh, with the focus
Ooh.
on their Omega, very nice. And yeah, some close-ups of that. Wow, look at the finishing, the mixed materials and stuff. Nice. Okay.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, and then just some detail shots of everything else. So, I appreciate this too. Just multiple angles of stuff and like some detail shots, especially since they're carrying their cameras everywhere. So it would make
Yeah.
sense that they want to
This
get
guy
some cool
photographs.
RC. Yeah, some
This guy
shallow depth of
photographs.
field, some nice focus. Yeah, so um, lots there. Oh, the last photo didn't load. Oh well, let me see if I can reload that. Ah, yes. Okay, so
Okay.
some details on the camera and titanium keychain stuff. So, what do you think?
I think it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of good stuff and a lot of compact stuff, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
Compact camera, compact digital camera, compact emulator, small knife, two small
Mm-hmm.
knives,
True.
and yeah. I think Lumix is also underrated. I've always loved all of the Lumix cameras I've owned. As far as
Oh
photography
yeah,
goes, I think it's a
yeah,
fairly underrated platform, underrated brand.
yeah. And this is super compact with, I believe, interchangeable lenses. Anyway, I think
Yeah, when
so
he
for
showed it from the
people.
side, it had a pretty large
Yeah,
lens on it. Doesn't look
yeah.
like it from this photo.
But the body itself is very compact, and I think this might be worth calling out if you're not familiar. These little like hexagonal grip tape things, that's exactly that. They're stickers of grip tape that are cut out in this shape so that you can attach it to things where you want more grip. So I've put this on like seatbelt webbing type bag straps that kind of
Hmm.
slide off the shoulder. I've
Yeah.
attached some of those for extra grip. It makes sense to put it on electronics, especially expensive, heavy ones that you're holding in your hand like that don't have it like a 3D molded grip section, right?
Kind of
So
like
that's kind of a
a
cool EDC modding hack that you
kind
can
of like
use.
skateboard grip tape, right?
Yeah, it's like literally that, but not as abrasive. It's just like tape that has grip. Sorry, it's not skateboard grip tape. Yeah, but it is a tape that has grip.
Yeah.
Then other things here that I think are interesting to appreciate is that they have redundancy built in, but not in the ways that you normally see, I guess, right?
Mm,
Like technically there are two cameras here and two camera batteries and then like two entertainment devices here
mm.
and two
Two
ways to tell
cutting,
time.
two cutting implements.
Two, yes, two. Oh, well, you could call them knives. I don't know why you called them cutting implements, but yes, they are knives.
It's
That's right, Mikey. Two
it's
knives.
Thursday. I am writing.
Okay.
I am on my writing
Uh
brain.
huh. Right, and then
Yeah.
there's like external like backup battery sources with the two battery packs. There's multiple forms of eyewear, that kind of stuff. So
Okay, I know the thought I was trying to formulate. This is one of those things where it's a carry where if you know, you know. So I believe this guy is very thoughtful, has done a bit of research, and landed on stuff that he likes and is of very very good quality. I
okay,
think I
okay.
think it's very unassuming from this photo, but then if you take a look
Hmm.
closer and the specific selections that he made and the materials he chose and the colors and everything, I think it's very deliberate and I think it's
Mm.
very discerning. I think that's the term I was looking for.
Ah,
It's one of those if you know you know, but very very subtle. Because you could have chosen any old emulator, but you chose this specific one. You could have chosen any other titanium knife that's small. You could have chosen any other small compact knife, any other
true.
small camera as well. But he chose these very specific ones that are inherently like above quality, I think.
Mm. Would you still hold that opinion if the camera was like a Sony and the watch was a Rolex? Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, that was kind of bait. Sorry, you didn't have to take that.
yeah,
Um, your point stands. I think
yeah.
this is a well considered carry, regardless. So, damn, beautiful. Okay,
Mhm.
so very cool. I appreciate that, and yeah, it's their carry and their bag dump. So it kind of makes sense that it's so expansive, right? If this is going to fit in a bag,
I would just
yeah.
add maybe a flashlight because he's got the pen and everything else, and the only thing missing is a
Hmm.
dedicated flashlight. But you know, not everybody's keen to carry a flashlight. It seems.
Yeah. So, thank you, Grimspoon, for this and showing love to the subreddit. And then lastly, let's pull up one more. This one has an interesting story. So it's not
Mm.
like your usual EDC. And this is from a submitter named, I'm going to butcher this, Junaid Mudaliar. And they said, I created a toolkit for my daughter to take with her to college. I bought some inexpensive tools, gave her some of my current ones, and a couple of nice pieces. She likes my Milwaukee ratchet screwdriver, so I got her one of those. And my wife thinks this is overkill. I love that they included that. So there's a lot in here. So a lot of this is in this Maxpedition pouch. I think it's the beefy pouch. And they have like Loctite. There's Ready Tape, duct tape. There's like a Husky hex key set, a Stanley hex key set, the Milwaukee 8-in-1 ratcheting multi-bit screwdriver. There's long nose pliers, a Stanley 6-inch curved jaw locking pliers, stuff from Pittsburgh, a Gerber suspension NXT multi tool, and then some Harbor Freight scissors. So lots of stuff in here. I I feel like this is plenty to prepare someone for going to college and like whatever dorm repairs. Do you even have to repair stuff? Well, that is presumptuous of me to think that they're living in a dorming situation, but yeah, I
this
feel
is
like maybe
this is
overkill? Nah.
probably more tools that I've owned in my entire life for my own
Right?
personal use. But
Yeah.
yeah, this isn't your normal just put a Leatherman in a pouch and be on your way.
Mhm.
This is the real deal, thought of curated toolkit
Uh-huh.
for most home repairs. I would say your
Mhm.
base is covered for a lot of basic repair stuff, basic maintenance stuff, and the fact that you're teaching and giving these tools to your daughter, which is a very not to reinforce gender roles or anything, but I think that's really cool that you're giving her
Sure.
those skills. And I think it's pretty rad that, I would have loved something like this in college. I would probably fix more stuff myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh man, this reminds me of like when I first got into EDC and like I had my Leatherman juice S2 and whatever, and I thought
Yeah.
I was like a
MacGyver over
handyman,
here.
just like yeah, I know, fixing up like random loose screws and stuff in the apartment. And
Yeah.
I remember, okay, this has nothing to do with this submission, but I remember like cutting down all the boxes that were just like spread out in the living room or something that were from my other roommates, and they were like boxes to products like electronics and stuff that were sitting there for months. So I thought
Yeah.
like, oh, they just don't want to get around to doing the recycling. So I broke them all down using my tools, and I was like so excited. I posted it on Facebook and like showed my multi-tool doing all that, giving myself a pat on the back. And then my roommates commented like, dude, I was saving that box. So stupid. I know. So that's when keeping an EDC goes wrong, I think. But anyway, I do really appreciate the submission and the story behind it. I think it's such a nice gesture to prepare
Yeah, definitely.
somebody, especially like, it's kind of like a love language, almost like a gesture in that way, where it's like, oh,
That's
I
a good
want her
point.
to feel prepared, and enabled to do these things when I'm not going to be there as the dad to maybe fix that stuff for her and then like teach
Yeah.
her those skills like you're saying. I think it's very touching. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it, and maybe it is just tools. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the takeaway of the show. Maybe it is just tools, but
Maybe it's just tools.
yeah, I think
Okay.
there's some added value there.
My last word is, if this is what he's sending off with his daughter, I want to see his stuff.
True. I know some of these were his, and then some he just bought the inexpensive ones. So I would like to see like what his taste is like.
Let's see what Dad has.
Yeah. Great. So I really appreciate that, Junaid Mudaliar, and I hope your daughter has a great time in college and that these are helpful. So I think that just about wraps it up for today's episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Hit the subscribe, share with a friend, and follow us on socials. All of that will be linked below. And if you want to be a part of our EDC community so you can share submissions like these, feel free to hop into our Facebook group or Discord server for more real-time discussion with other EDCers. And lastly, if you have any feedback for us or questions you want answered on the show, you can shoot us an email at podcast@everydaycarry.com. Thank you so much for listening to Carry the Way. I'm Bernard.
Mikey.
And until the next one, peace.